Ian, how's that Overwatch treating you?
So here's the funny thing about video games and myself lately is I've been having a very good run with modern video games. More interesting, I think, at least for me, and I think, anyone who knows me, is that I don't play first-person shooters. I don't. I haven't liked the genre in a fucking decade and a half, with the exception of, yes, I did like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I thought it was good. But Doom, we talked about last podcast, turned out to be phenomenal. And Overwatch was a game that I had my eyes on, but I was iffy on it. And I'll describe what the game is. Everyone in the freaking world knows what it is now, but let me describe it and I'll tell you why I was iffy on it. Overwatch is a team-based, objective-based, multiplayer-only online first-person shooter akin to something like Team Fortress 2. Okay, you assemble teams of 6, and you go in on various maps, and you accomplish... Basically, right now, you have about 3.5 game modes, okay? You've got a Capture the Hill style game mode, where it's best out of 3 rounds, and you either capture a control point, and once it's secured, a meter fills up. And when it gets to 100%, you win that round. Now, if the other team comes in and contests it, and they get it, then their meter fills up.
It's like domination.
Yes.
From Unreal Tournament. Okay.
So, yeah, these old names are just kind of slipping me. Then there's Pure Attack or Pure Defend, where the attacking team has to capture 2 points while the other team defends 2 points. And then you switch it, and you do it the other way. And then there's Escort Missions, which are actually a lot of fun. Normally, I hate Escort Missions, where you basically have to push a car along to a destination or a vehicle along a track. And then there's one hybrid mode where you have to capture a point first, and then you have to escort the car once you capture the point to the end. Now, what makes Overwatch unique, beyond the fact that it's probably one of the best advertising campaigns, pre-release campaigns I've seen a company pull off. I mean, they had people in love with these characters before anyone really had a true grasp of how the game would play is... It utilizes 21 different playable characters that you choose from, divided up into offense, defense, tank, and support classes. And within those 4 classes, I'm not exaggerating when I say that each of those characters plays significantly differently. So you have your character like Junkrat, who's best at staying in the back and lobbing bouncing grenades. You have your character like Tracer, who's basically the de facto mascot, who can blink forward multiple steps in an instant, or she can rewind time while she's playing, which means if you round a corner and you enter an ambush, you can press a button, granted there's a cooldown, and she will actually flash back in time to where she was with her health at that period of time, because she can only take 1 or 2 hits before she's down, whereas someone that I like to play, like, say, my secondary is kind of Roadhog, has 600 health and can soak up bullets. So what you get is essentially you get 21 really well-crafted characters. People are in love with these character designs. But you have 21 incredibly unique loadouts that you're playing the game with.
So the characters are equipped with their default primary
They
weapons.
each get one primary weapon, and then they get, depending on who you are, you get a bunch of different stuff. So like Tracer flashes around or can rewind time. Junkrat can launch a explosive tire that he can steer around and then find a group of enemies and blow it up. Roadhog has a sickling hook that he can use to drag enemies closer and then use his shotgun at close range. Or my favorite character, the fucking troll that everyone loves but everyone hates to play against, Mei, who can literally... create walls of ice at openings to funnel people around, and she has a freeze gun that allows her to slow enemies down and freeze them. So it's all very unique.
So you can create a balanced team and actually employ strategies versus a lot of other, I hate to say it, a lot of first-person shooters don't put that much thought into the team mode where everyone has the same weapons or ends up using the same weapons that they prefer.
Precisely. And to further this point, Blizzard actively encourages when you die, or at any point in your game if you're not dead and you head back to home base, you can switch your character as many times as you want in one game.
Huh.
So if like, I like to play as Mei, but there are certain maps that aren't good with her all the way through. So as we get further along the escort mission, I may back out of Mei and pick someone like Soldier 76 or Tracer so that I can get up to the front lines really quick. Or if I notice that I've got someone who's tanking really good in an objective area, I'll switch to Mercy, I'll attach my healing beam to him, and I'll just hide in the back. And keep him alive while he's, you know, dominating the point. So what happens is you have this game with all of these great characters and these really well balanced characters, but it's all brightly colorful. It's all oranges and blues and greens, and
sort of like Splatoonish.
Yeah, and it's not just a welcome aesthetic change. For people like me who are colorblind, for the first time in a fucking first-person shooter, I feel like I can actually keep track of everything that's going on. And it's immediately fun to play. The game balance is just so, and the things that they keep track of that you're doing while you're playing, how much you're healing, how much damage you're blocking, how much of the team's damage have you absorbed. At the end, you're usually going to find a stat that makes you feel like, hey, I contributed to the team and I did something well. And because of all that, it's become this massive addiction. I bought it on a whim, knowing that there was a very good chance I wasn't going to like this. I put it in multiple friends' hands, and I've already gotten 4 of my friends to get copies of it.
No, it's interesting because I've said in the past about how the first-person shooter genre was stagnant.
Not anymore.
I've said on the podcast before, but now you have companies thinking of what was Splatoon. You know, it's a third person, and you have this game where you have different classes built into the game. You don't have to build them up or get stupid.
No, as a matter of fact, there is no level progression.
Thank fucking God.
There's no that you don't the Mei that you play the first time you play is the Mei you play when you're level 30,
which is how it should always be.
The levels, all the levels do is unlock loot boxes for you, which are extraneous skins and voice samples and things that you can
get some reward,
add.
but nothing that will change the gameplay.
Nope.
Which is perfect.
You simply have to be good with your character.
Oh yeah, and so the mode is actually called Assault. The attacking team is tasked with capturing 2 target points and see what's on the map, while the defending team must stop them. That goes back to Unreal Tournament. They were brilliant thinking that up, having waypoints and things you had to do in order to time. Then you had to defend it, and then you had to break the other team's time. To win the round.
It's so good, and
that to me sounds incredible. That's why that's what playing Unreal Tournament competitively. That's what I love the most.
So in what it did was it actually grew a love of objective-based gameplay in me. For the longest time, all I ever wanted to do was team deathmatch. I didn't want to have to strategize with people, but this game, I'm learning that. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I don't want team deathmatch in this game because it's going to unbalance half the characters, because some of these characters only work really well in synergy with others. There's a character named Lucio, who is a support character. He's a Brazilian DJ, and his thing is he can play a tune which either heals people in the radius around him for a certain amount of time, or it speeds them up, which is really great to getting to an objective. But you can use also something called crossfade, so that you can switch between that on the fly once, like every 6 seconds, you can switch what you're doing. So he's amazing, and he can do damage, but in a team deathmatch game, suddenly his usefulness is drained considerably. So they've put a lot of work into it. Some people have complained, and I'm not gonna get down on them for this. There's 12 maps. Each map is limited to 1 game mode each right now, because they're balanced maps. They're trying to balance the maps. But 21 characters you cannot bitch about. There is no ranked play right now, but ranked play comes out at the end of June. And much like Splatoon, and Blizzard is obviously going to do this better, because this is how... I mean, Blizzard still releases fucking patches for Diablo 2. Blizzard has promised that all future map DLC and all future character DLC is 100% free. Once you buy the game, you're supported with this game for the life of the game. So there are a lot of people who have other minor issues with this, and I read them and I go, yeah, I can see that. But as a person who's finally finding first-person shooters refreshing again for the first time in 15, 20 years, I can't help but gush over this game. And if you follow me on Twitter, I'm sorry, that's all I've done for the past week is gush over this game.